what about the cash? When does that come in? How does it come in when they start and then when they end, and then also funding?
Yeah, so the cash that we give them, and it depends on the partners that we're running the program with. So sometimes the ticket's bigger, depending upon if that partner's also investing. And sometimes we now have multiple partners. So I think in the Zero Knowledge program, we had several protocols and 2 what we call venture partners. So these are VCs that have an interest in the space, but it's especially early for them. They don't feel that they have the deal flow, the access to the deal flow, or all of the competencies required to DD them. Or they want to get in early, but they're normally investing a little bit later. So a VP might come in, they'll put some cash down across the whole program indiscriminately, and then they'll follow on later for the teams that they like, once they've got an understanding. It's a kind of stage that they're more comfortable with. So depending on that, the ticket can range. It can be from 100 up to 250. And that's usually released pretty early on into the program. We think of it as a cash stipend in a way. It's like, here's some cash to get you through the program. So you just if things are really tight, because we know that if you can get through the program, I don't have to hand the multiple uplift from when you go into the program and when you leave, but it's material. I think it's anything from 3 to 10x sometimes in valuation uplift. So if you can just get through that program without having to raise until you're really, really ready to raise, then you're going to get a better premium, you're going to get less dilution. So often the cash we give them is to just get them through that program. But again, people sometimes compare apples and oranges, and I put that on us. We've got to do a better job at communicating our value-based proposition, which is not money.
Right. So typical company, they start, I might get 100,000 stipend that gets me through those 12 weeks, which I guess is for paying the salaries, maybe some tech startup stuff, whatever I'm doing. And at the end of the 12 weeks, there's potentially more money coming, or that's when you try to help them raise?
Yeah, so we will then kind of catalyze that investor network. We do demo days like everybody else. We try to do them thematically. So it's not necessarily specific to a cohort now. We'll run a demo day with teams from across different programs that are somehow grouped. So for the investor, they kind of know that they're going to go and look at things that are going to be relevant for them. And we also do that at later stages too. So even when they're graduated from the program, our more mature portfolio, who might be doing like a Series A or even later, we'll do these kind of days where we'll invite some investors to come and meet our kind of more mature portfolio. But they'll then come and raise some money. I think the number you used was 350 million that we've helped raise in seed value. I actually don't know what that is. The PR team probably have a better view on it than me. I suspect it's probably even more than that now, to be honest with you. And in crypto terms, that might not sound like a lot, but if you imagine that that's like seed tickets, relatively small rounds, 1 million, 1.5 million rounds, that's a lot of rounds closed.
Yeah. And valuations will typically be on that 10 million valuations, 5 million valuations?
Yeah, so it fluctuates, and it really depends where we are in the market, obviously, for a number of reasons. Not just because, bull markets generally see the valuations inflated at all stages, but especially at seed. But it's also the instrument that they're using to raise from. So actually what's interesting is equities come back on the table for the last 2 years. And that's primarily because the investors aren't retail investors anymore, like ICOs, where you would just raise from retail through a SAFT agreement, which is a convertible note. From a unprofessional investor base, it was a seller's market. You'd do a SAFT, the money would be wide in ETH and Bitcoin, away you go. Valuations were just, you call them party rounds. Rounds would be closed in 24 hours at 100 million plus valuation.
The good old days.
Yeah, with a SAFT, with no shareholder rights,
Right.
Now it's, people want equity, they want to be on the cap table, they want shareholder rights, they want to know how you're spending the money, they want the founder to be accountable. very disciplined approach to investing, which is great. But then they also want token exposure. So there'll be some like right to a token. It could be pro rata, depending on your share, your equity share of the company. So people are kind of enjoying both the benefits, the safety of equity, and then the upside of tokens, should there be one. Liquidity takes a little bit longer now. I think tokens are just starting to be launched again, which is great. I think we've got a backlog of about 50 token economies that would launch tomorrow. If the markets were right, they've been building for anything from a year to 2 years, and they're just waiting for the markets. So all of that kind of feeds into valuation. So, I think right now the number I heard was between 25 to 30 million average valuation when they leave.
Post-acceleration.
Post-acceleration.
After 12 weeks with you.
Yeah.
That's really high. And they're coming in usually significantly lower or hard to evaluate.
Yeah.
But maybe 5 million. And that's why you're saying you want to be with us.
Yeah, basically.
Because on paper, you're making significantly more money.
Basically.
Okay.
Now, what I want to be clear about there as well is that that's not just like artificially inflating it, right? It's being able to justify it to an investor. So ultimately, somebody's still going to make an investment. They're going to do their own DD. It's not like somehow we've just made it look shinier. It's that we've materially helped them either hit milestones that they weren't hitting before, or articulate the value of their business better, and ideally both. But ultimately, investors are investors. They don't want to overpay, and right now it is still a buyer's market. Still, the investors dictate the terms. So yeah, there's a material uplift, and again, we got to do a better job of articulating that. Like that's really the value of coming through the program. But we'll have a bull market at some point, and SAFs will probably come in vogue again. Retail will sneak back into the counter cap table somehow, and things will get inflated. We operate on this concept of being evergreen. So whatever we do today has to work in either a bull market or a bear market. Otherwise, you get out of shape. If you become too bearish, you're not going to be able to realize when there's an uptick, structurally. And if you're too bullish, you lose discipline. You do things that you got to cut in a bear market, and that's never going away. Like bull and bear, and of course, markets generally, but in crypto, it's much shorter, it's much more extreme, and even the smartest people are caught out. So, we're here almost a decade still going, because we've just very disciplined on that evergreen mentality.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. Hey, do you want to profit from crypto? Then join my DeFi Academy. The Crypto DeFi Academy will help you create generational wealth. But don't take my word for it. Listen to my students.
When I first got into crypto, I remember thinking to myself, I need to learn more. Brian Rose, learning crypto, learning DeFi, gotta do it.
I am so grateful that I jumped in and did this. I had to break through some limiting beliefs that I can do this, that I can afford this, that I can be in this.
It challenges the things that are deeply rooted within us.
Joining DeFi Academy has been one of the best decisions I have made on my blockchain journey.
This course was a life changer, a game changer, a huge eye-opener, coming from knowing practically nothing at the speed of the learning over 4 weeks was just fantastic.
The information you provided in this class was invaluable.
I feel far more confident in my next steps.
You took complex concepts and made them easier to understand.
What's different than so many other ones is it just doesn't tell you what to do. It actually makes you do it.
This is for people who are serious about becoming traders. This is the way it should be done.
I realized from this learning experience again that it is not about what you learn, but about who you learn it from.
The energy was insane. I've never experienced such incredible energy on a live call. Brian Rose, you are a legend, my friend.
It's the only thing in the market where you can get all information and learn everything what you need to know.
Everything is so clear and so well done, and I'm just forever grateful for this program.
It made me feel so much more confident about crypto than I did before.
I did not anticipate how passionate I was going to become about it.
It's of course been like a big learning experience for me, not just in the crypto space, but just in overall balance of life.
What I've learned is, how to take ownership, of my life in a way that I really hadn't before.
Yeah, you can't put a price on that, really.
I would recommend it to anybody, top notch.
Excellence does not come cheap. So if you want excellence, you got to pay for it, but it's so worth it.
Pull the trigger. That's what this course is about.
You're not going to regret it, really. It's amazing.
Thank you, Brian and team.
So what are you waiting for? Crypto is happening now. Click the link below, submit your application, and let me mentor you on how to create generational wealth and build the decentralized financial infrastructure of the future.